At 35,000 feet somewhere over the icy Atlantic, you learn real fast that money, power, and planning don't mean a damn thing when you're fighting for air. 1 second, I was watching the glow of first-class lights, the quiet hum of business travelers pretending to sleep, and the next I was clutching my wife's hand as she truly gasped, desperate for breath, her other hand shaking over her pregnant belly. If you've ever seen someone you love turn blue in the face, you'll know, in that instant, nothing else exists. That's how fast a world can shrink, you know what I mean? I remember Lauren's whisper, "Evan, I can't breathe," and suddenly everything else fell away. I was on my feet, glass of champagne hitting the floor, shouting for help, and nobody answered at first. Monica, the flight attendant, looked scared but tried to hide it, her voice crackling as she called out, "Is there a doctor on board?" You know how they say every plane's got a doc? Yeah, not tonight. Just whispers and worried faces, nobody stepping forward, and my heart was pounding in my chest, louder than the engines. In the back, a kid stood up. Skinny, black, looked about 17, maybe younger, hoodie and headphones, backpack wedged tight between his feet. He looked out of place, and honestly, if I'd seen him any other time, I wouldn't have thought twice. But he walked down that aisle with this quiet confidence. "Let me try," he said. The crew hesitated, naturally, like everyone does when a teenager steps into a crisis. But he was calm, focused, asking the right questions. Did her legs swell? Is she short of breath between every word? And Monica, maybe out of desperation, maybe because she heard something in his voice, she let him through. Her left leg, it was swollen yesterday, Lauren croaked, just barely. The kid Noah, I learned ladder didn't flinch. She needs aspirin. Get her oxygen. Proper legs. He was moving fast, not scared, telling us what to do, checking her pulse. Monica handed him the med kit, and there was this weird moment where time seemed to hang everyone in first class staring, nobody believing what they saw. Some guy behind me muttered, "They're letting a kid handle this?" But there was no one else. Noah explained, quick and clear, that his grandma had almost died from a blood clot last year. "Where I come from, we don't have doctors on speed dial," he said. And somehow, I believe him maybe because I didn't have any choice. I just nodded, and Monica pushed the aspirin into Lauren's mouth, started the oxygen, and Noah got her legs up, loosening her shoes and jewelry. For a while, nothing changed, and I felt the fear in my gut gnawing away, thinking, this can't be it. This can't be how it ends. But slowly, Lauren's color returned. Her lips lost that terrifying blue, her breaths got longer, steadier, and I thought, maybe, just maybe we caught a break. But Noah didn't relax, kept saying, "She still needs a hospital. This is just about time." Monica, bless her, was already on the radio, getting the pilot to divert to Frankfurt. People were still whispering, peeking from behind their little curtains. I heard a woman say, "If he's wrong," but nobody moved to help. Nobody had a better idea. It hit me right there, in that cramped aisle, that sometimes all it takes to change everything is one person willing to step up even if he's the last one you'd expect. When we landed, everything happened fast. Lights, paramedics, the doors yanked open before we even reached the gate. Lauren was loaded onto a stretcher, and I held her hand the whole way, terrified to let go. As they wheeled her down the jet bridge, she turned her head, looked right at Noah, and just said, "Thank you." Not loud, not showy, but honest. The kind of thanks that means something. In the hospital, hours later, I sat in a plastic chair gripping a cup of terrible coffee, running through every bad scenario, and Noah was there too, silent, his backpack at his feet, watching some German news channel with the sound off. The doctor finally came clipboard, tired eyes, and told us Lauren was stable. The clot was real, aspirin helped, oxygen kept her going, the baby was safe for now. I almost broke down right there, but I held it together. Later, in her room, Lauren asked for both of us. She looked at Noah and said, "You were headed to an interview, right?" He nodded, quiet, told us about the Young Global Health Scholars Program in Zurich. "Only 50 kids in the world get in. You missed it for us?" Lauren asked. He just shrugged. Wasn't a choice. You needed help. That's when it landed. For Medhis wasn't about being a hero. It was just about doing the right thing, even when nobody else was willing. The next morning, I found Noah in the hotel cafe, notebook open, eyes far away. I wanted to repay him, to thank him in some way that actually mattered, so I offered money, school connections, whatever he needed. But he shook his head. I don't want anything for me. My grandma's got heart failure, COPD, can't get up the stairs anymore. She needs care. Our whole building veterans. Old folks, nobody can get a doctor. If you want to help them. I was stunned. I'd given to global charities, written checks for hospitals halfway across the world, but I'd never even thought about what folks 20 miles from my own house needed. Noah looked me in the eye, told me what would make a difference. Invest in real health care for his neighborhood. Not a hand-do-to partnership, something that would last. Don't just put your name on a building. Put people in it who care. He made me see what I'd missed my whole life needs aren't about geography. They're about access and dignity. And you know what? That hit me harder than anything that happened on that plane. A week later, Lauren and I visited Noah's apartment in East Oakland. Mrs. Levern Benson, his grandmother, welcomed us in her own way, sharp, tough, but proud. The hallway smelled like cornbread, walls lined with photos, every inch cared for. Mrs. Benson listened as I laid out a plan, not for charity, but for a community-run health initiative, staffed and led by locals, funded by our foundation, with Noah advising us directly. She eyed me like a judge, then said, "You're not as clueless as I thought. Still green, but learning." And that was that. We launched the Oakfield Health Initiative within months of full-service, community-led clinic, real access for real people, with Noah heading the Youth Advisory Board and, thanks to Lauren's persuasion, a full scholarship to Stanford's pre-med program. Lauren gave birth to our daughter a few months later, healthy and strong. We named her Levern Hope, Callister after the woman who taught us both what courage really looks like. Mrs. Benson held her first, whispering, strong name. Make sure she grows into it. Looking back, I see it now. Noah didn't save us for a reward. He did it because it was right. Dignity, respect, the willingness to see past our own fears, those are the foundations worth building on. Not just for a family, not just for a neighborhood, but for anyone willing to listen and act. So let me ask you, what would you have done? 35,000 feet up with nothing but trust and hope? Who would you have listened to? Where does justice really start? And what does it look like when it's your turn to stand up? Drop your thoughts below, tell me. Do you believe true community starts with a single act? Or is it something we have to build piece by piece every day?